Chag Sameach. They tell the story that the locomotive was making its debut in a small town in Russia, and the entire city came out excited to watch this new technological marvel. And they all gathered. There's a lot of steam. It's making a lot of noise. And suddenly it moves. The first car, that is. All the other ones stay behind, and they realize that the individual who had the job of hooking up that first car to the others failed to do their job. And the Hasidic masters use this metaphor to describe any inspirational experience we have when we're filled with positive resolutions and changes we want to implement in our lives, but we don't go about concretizing them enough in a detailed and a systematic way that there can be a lasting change. And that is the gift that we have this time of year when we come from the inspiration of the first days of Passover, which is supposed to carry us all the way until Shavuot, which is the giving of the Torah. There are 49 days, the counting of the omer, where we have the job of implementing the changes that we decided on Passover into our real life. And to do this, our sages gave us this mitzvah of counting the 49 days and reflecting on the way that these 49 days represent 49 attributes, or in a sense, 7 attributes, and the way each of these 7 are made up of the other 7. And that is why you'll notice that when we count the Omer, we both count the days as well as the weeks. For instance, if it is day number 8, we will say today is 8 days of the Omer, which is 1 week and 1 day. Because in this time, we both work on the general character trait as well as the particulars. And this job of character refinement, character development, is at the heart of being a Jew, being a human. 100% natural is great when it comes to the food we eat. It's not good when it comes to our personalities. Hashem gave us a soul, especially our animal soul, with all sorts of work that needs to be done. And this hard work happens now. And the counting of the Omer tells us something profound. The hard work happens when it's slow, when it's steady, and when it is detailed. A good example might be during this pandemic. I think all of us have thought a lot about the changes we would like to see in our lives, the lessons we learned from COVID. And we shouldn't make the mistake of having big, sweeping changes that we want to have. And idealistic ideas, that's all good, but we know that steam can quickly dissipate. Instead, we should work on concretizing in action in very small and nuanced ways. That is the secret of the Omer. We're only 1 week into it, less than a week actually, so I invite you all, every single day, if you've not already done so, to count the Omer, as well as reflect on what is the avodah, the work of that particular day. And I'll leave you with a meditation for today. Today, actually tonight, is going to be the 6th day of the Omer. We're coming up to 1 week, which is Yesod of Chesed, bonding within loving kindness. Now, what does that mean? Well, this whole week we've been working on Chesed, loving kindness, and in a way it's the easiest to think of because we relate to what love is, what giving is, what acts of kindness are, and I think most of us look at ourselves as loving and kind individuals. But this week asks us to look under the hood, look into the details, and tonight in particular is Yesod Shebechesed, bonding within loving kindness. When I give, does it lead to lasting relationships? Does it lead to deeper relationships, more deep connections with other people? If the answer is great, that's fantastic, and tonight is the night that we think about bonding, truly bonding with love. But if not, we should go back and look at the previous 5 days and see where could we have gone wrong in our kindness. And let's do that journey. In short, I invite you to do it in detail online. You'll see what each meditation is. The first night is Chesed of Chesed, loving kindness within loving kindness. And that is when we not only give, but we give with a smile. We give eagerly. We all know when we've been the beneficiary of someone else's kindness. Sometimes it can make you feel wonderful. Other times it can make you feel not so great. And a lot has to do with the way the other person gave. Chesed shebechesed is the time we ask ourselves, when I give, how easy, how natural is it for me to give? Am I drained afterwards? Am I burnt out afterwards? Am I resentful afterwards? If so, I need to look better at my chesed of chesed. The next day was givura of chesed, discipline within kindness. I heard from somebody who had someone ask them, hey, could I stay at your house a little bit while there are renovations going on in my house? And they said, sure. The problem was there was no end game, and the days quickly turned into weeks until they were in this very uncomfortable position where they did not know what to do. And they turned to a mentor, and the mentor said, this is where you need gevura of chesed, to set boundaries. Because if you cannot say no, then are your yeses really yeses? Gevura shebechesed is when we have those healthy boundaries. When we give love, do we smother the other person or do we give space? When we give, are we able to do it in a way that is sustainable, that we are able to say no if need be? If we have a hard time saying no, that's a time to work on our gevura shebechesed. The next day, tiferet shebechesed, compassion within loving kindness, is when we analyze that when we give, are we really making it about the other person? Do we have a good read into their needs? Is the giving more about ourselves, or is it about what does this person need at this particular time? That sensitivity, that empathy, that is tiferet shebechesed. The fourth day, netzach shebechesed, endurance within loving kindness, is when we ask ourselves an important question. Does my giving last? Is it sustainable? Am I someone who sometimes gets excited at a new cause and I throw myself into it, but then afterwards it goes away? Do I perhaps give a large amount of energy or assets at the beginning, but I cannot keep it up? Do I only give when I'm in the mood? Netzach shebechesed, endurance in my kindness. And finally, last night, hod shebechesed, humility in my compassion. When I give, do I do it in a humble way? Is it about me or is it about the other person? It doesn't have to only be giving something. It can also be humility in giving up the need to be right. I'm filled with loving kindness, but it's being infused with humility. Those were the first 5 days, and that should lead us to Yesod of Chesed tonight. Deep, lasting connections. Each time we give, a deeper connection. But if not, we can go back and look at the last 6 days and see where could we have done a little bit of tweaking in order that tomorrow we can finish with Malchut Shebechesed. I invite you all to learn more what that means. I hope you will go on this journey together with all the Jewish people, millions around the world, doing this self-development, reflection, character development during this time. Chag Sameach, a wonderful rest of Pesach.